Welcome, dear founders. Welcome, our esteemed investors. Thank you for finding time to join us today, despite of the TechCrunch Disrupt conference happening these days, disrupting everybody else's events. But we appreciate having you, and we look forward to hearing your insights, your feedback to our pitching companies today. Of course, hear brilliant pitches of our presenters. While we're all gathering, I want to invite investors to just take a 30 seconds time to introduce yourself. It is always inspiring for entrepreneurs to hear your voices, to see your faces, and it's just an open mic for all investors. Whoever wants to introduce themselves in 30 seconds or less, and just say a few words such as, what is your criteria? How do you select founders to invest in? Who are your favorite founders? Like, how do you fall in love with companies? How do you pick them? So some of your criteria, some of your strategies, if you want. Who wants to share? Just a voluntary exercise or like a warm-up icebreaker. Okay. By the way, Richard Chan, you were sharing some of your ideas yesterday with me. That would be great. And I remember I told you that it would be great if founders heard them. You want to say a few words?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me, Tanya. Hey, everybody, this is Richard. I'm the founder of FlexVault.ai. Not used to be. I still have my angel investment syndicate that we were going to turn into a fund called Iterative Venture. So kind of sat on both sides of the aisle. For me personally, in terms of how I select founders, there are a couple angles to it. One is, for any business, right? One differentiating factor is the access to, certain, access. But what that means is just that, do you have industry connections already that you're bringing that tells me that you are differentiated in that perspective? On the other hand, there's also the technological point of view, as I think, especially because my background is in Silicon Valley, been through companies like Meta and TikTok, and kind of seeing, especially in Facebook in the earlier days, they had strong differentiation in terms of the way that they approach tech. And this is one of the reasons why Facebook was able to iterate really fast. And so from that perspective, I'm generally looking for those two. But that's just from the presentation decks that I usually glean from other founders. Now, having been a founder myself, one of the things that I expect myself to do, my team to do, and similarly, for founders that I invest in is very simple things such as how fast you turn around when it comes to having, let's say, any sort of partnership agreement, or just responding to my email. How clear are your thoughts? Are you a person who is committed to their words? Are you going to be delivering versus are you just stringing me along and kind of hedge your bets and whatnot? So I think personal integrity, how decisive you are, et cetera, really helps me to determine whether it's a founder that I want to work with. At the end of the day, I think that a startup is all about speed, right? And iterations. I don't care if they're not super correct at first, but what I would expect them to do is to continuously explore and have a culture to do so in the company. That was very long. Sorry. Those are just some thoughts.
That was a brilliant, inspiring introduction from angel investor Richard Chan. We also have some of the new angel investors in this room, many angel investors actually today. We met recently Wiebe Wagemann. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. Wiebe Wagemann.
Sorry, Tanya, you're dropping off.
I think your audio is not coming from your AirPods. It's coming from somewhere far away.
Okay, let me check.
Okay. So can you guys hear me now? Yeah, you can hear me?
Okay, perfect. So yeah, let's not do headphones. So I wanted to ask some of the investors that are in the room as the icebreaker to share your perspective on how you pick founders, what are your criteria. So we have Wiebe Wageman, who I thought might want to say a few words. How do you invest in companies? How do you select founders? Who you prefer to invest in? If you have like a short insight.
Yeah, sure. So Viba here, a couple of times this is my 8th startup and a couple of unicorns, but mostly duds. And yeah, I can't help myself. So I invest on the side. I'm on a couple of boards on the side. What I look at is a combination of number one, grit, first and foremost, because you're going to pivot. And right now in the Valley, you're almost being judged not by your product market fit or your team, but mostly like, do you have enough money for the next pivot? And it's kind of I like the vibe right now in the Valley in the sense that I've been here for 20 years and I've never seen it move this quickly. So it's hard to keep up, not just for old farts like me, but even for the 25-year-olds. What I'm looking at, apart from IQ, EQ, is VQ, what I call the vitality quotient, which means do you have the fire in your belly? Like it's hard, right? If you're in it for fame and money, then this is not for you, and you'll find out sooner or later. I usually invest in the hard stuff, the deep tech coming out of universities, spin outs, or a lot of direct-to-consumer stuff. That's my specialty, hardware as well. Doesn't mean that the boring enterprise B2B SaaS doesn't sometimes grab my attention, but it has to be very special.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the introduction. We have, I'm lucky to get to more women investors in our panel today. So we have Tina Choi, we have Kimberly Bryant, who's a genius, also founder of Black Girls Who Code, an angel investor, Black Innovation Lab. So Kimberly, if you want to say a few words about your experience working with founders and who do you like investing in, how do you pick winners?
Sure, I can jump in really quickly. I have really kind of come into angel investing from being a social entrepreneur myself. And so my lens is really always kind of from that perspective of what I learned as a founder and what I'm hoping to see in the founders that I actually invest in as an angel or as an LP. And one of the things that's mentioned a few times here is that resilience or grit factor, or the ability to stay in the game long enough to get to a win, whatever that win is. And I think in most cases, you want to, or for me, I'm looking for founders that are innovative and strategic and keep pulling back the layers until they can find that single nugget that gets them to the next stage and the next stage. I also really look for founders for me that are proximate to the market they're trying to serve. That's the other big thing for me. I want to understand that the founder has some insight, personal experience, and what they're trying to build and the impact possibility. And so sometimes that means that there are things that I might pass on or not in the lane that I don't even have an insight to. And so I don't kind of go in those areas. I come from a health tech space after being there for a couple of decades before I went into social entrepreneurship. So my lens is always looking for things that are innovations that help the world or something solve a big hairy problem in the world around health or wellness and feminine issues as well, that are things that I understand well, and some of the things that are needs that are not being met. So that's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm investing, but I really want to understand that the founder has a goal or a reason to build this thing other than just trying to get rich. It won't be quick, but other than just the capitalism factor, I want something else to see that there's another drive for the founder, and that kind of what gets me excited.
Amazing. So nice to meet you, Kimberly Bryant. So we will be looking forward to hearing your feedback for our female founders today, who we have a lot. And I want to ask if Tina Choi is here, another investor.
I'm a little under the weather, so I'm not going to turn my video, but I love what Kimberly have to say. And then one thing that I think somebody said, Reba said, is vitality quotient. I think that's so important. I actually work at I was in the beginning of when Steve Jobs came back, work on the first iPod, iPad, and I think that is so important, even as a big company. And for me, I'm passionate about really helping women entrepreneur and people of color because we get, must be 1 to 2% of the investment money, right? But for me, that being said, I invest in all that have opportunities to make money. And areas that I really like is the aging longevity market, and then also assistive AI. And one thing I like is also robotics and gaming. Those are areas I really are very interested in.
Tina, would you be sharing your video with us today just to make
No,
a
I
visual?
actually I have a cold. I came back traveling.
Okay, no problem. Audio was valuable, and thank you for your input so much. Okay, so we have some more angel investors. We will not have time to get everybody's welcome words, but during the event, please do say a few things. I think we will be moving forward to our main program. So, okay, let me just proceed to our formal part where I will be talking about our format and the events and the rules of the game, etc. So everybody please stay muted unless you are speaking or asking a question. Dear participants, welcome to our October edition Startup Investor Pitch Launch. I'm Penny Mitchell. I'm a CEO and founder of Mission to Mars Academy. I am a producer and host of Startup Investor Pitch Launch. It is a virtual event that provides startups that are scaling to US market a shortcut to get in front of many investors, Silicon Valley and American investors at once. And it's the perfect opportunity to get visibility, to get exposure, to get real-time useful feedback from investors, get investor reactions to your startup, and of course, to get funded. So we have a room full of investors today. As you can see, there are more investors than founders, and we are really lucky to have you guys here and have your support and attention. And we also have brilliant founders who gathered here from different corners of the world to present their ventures to our esteemed panel of investors. It is Halloween Eve in America, but hopefully our startup pitches and investor comments will not get too spooky, but rather be energizing and encouraging. At Startup Investor Pitch Launch, we help global entrepreneurs scale their ventures to US market globally, and we connect entrepreneurs with investors in Silicon Valley and across America. Our global entrepreneurs audience already exceeds 15,000 innovators from over 50 countries. So if you are an early stage startup or growth stage startup, you want to explore your investment opportunities in the United States, join Startup Investor Pitch Launch, come pitch at our virtual event, meet the best investors, build your American dream. We also help United States American investors discover most talented startups from new emerging ecosystems, from emerging markets of Middle East, Southeast Asia, BRICS countries, Europe, and Africa. If you're an investor, join our upcoming investor roadshow, Discovering Investment Opportunities in Central Asia, one of the emerging markets. Meet local innovation ecosystem players, build partnerships, explore investment opportunities in Asian markets. But today it's all about pitching for America. Today we brought together the best founders and investors, and we are ready to make investment magic happen again. Today we have really bright innovators presenting their companies in the industries of SaaS, health tech, education, entertainment, consumer tech, and more. Pitching companies for today are Arcane Circle, the ultimate all-in-one hub for tabletop games and creators. Trax Robotics, exoskeletons to help people walk. Sensei Wise, cracking the code of human behavior to transform workplace productivity. light-hearted AI, unlocking timely cardiac care through photonics. SimTurbo, next-gen aviation education software, revolutionizing how future engineers learn aircraft engine design. Uniflow AI, autonomous intelligence infrastructure that enables enterprises and governments to solve complex business problems by automatically routing across classical AI and quantum computing if needed. And Quatic, empowering Haiti's food market economy through digital literacy. Each founder today will have 5 minutes to pitch, followed by 5 to 7 minutes for Q&A. And please make sure your pitch is exactly 5 minutes. I will hate to interrupt you. And our investor judge panel will have some of the best investors that gathered here today. Some of the names who you haven't heard from yet, but they must be in this room already. Alex Shani, Family Office, Silicon Valley, Andrew Davis, angel investor, Antonio de la Esperanza, Bitcroft VC, Bongko, Venrock Capital, Bryant Lee Jones, Stanford University, angel investor, David Henry, angel investor, Elisa Dragomir, Sky VC, investor from Miami Family Office, Henry Griel Jalba, angel investor, Eden Ministry of Netherlands Defense Innovation Division is here. Very interested to hear your pitches. Jeff Svoboda from Ridgeback Capital, John Stewart, angel investor, Kahan Shah, curate Forum Angel, Kai Wang of the Park Capital, Catherine Scott, Luminate Capital, Kimberly Bryant, angel investor, Manny Fernandez, angel investor, San Francisco Angel Group, Mary Jo Potter, Healthcare Angels, Michael Drobak, Stanford Alumni Angels, Michael Fidak, Outlander VC, Owen Davis, Martis Capital, Paul Weinstein, Azure Capital, Ray Wu, Alumni Ventures, Richard Chan, angel investor, Ron Levin, Alumni Ventures, Skyler Fernandez, Venture University Fund, Tina Choi, angel investor, Todd Yancey, angel investor, Viva Weigemann, angel investor. Many of you are here and I welcome you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for choosing to be with us today. Not a TechCrunch. Our investors will be supporting founders today, asking tough questions, providing their useful feedback, encouraging, supportive feedback. If you're an investor in this room, I did not introduce you. You will have a chance to introduce yourself. When you ask questions, you can raise your virtual hand and take mic. Some of you will be watching this video as a recording, a replay. So founders, make sure that your pitches are interesting to rewatch many times. A few instructions for investors who are joining us today. We do not have any scoring system in place. It is not a competition, not a contest. It's just an opportunity for you to get to know founders, to hear their pitches, to connect and explore investment opportunities. During the pitch event, everybody stays muted. After the pitch, investor who wants to ask a question raises a hand, asks the question. Sometimes you don't need to raise a hand, just unmute yourself because there are many people, sometimes I don't see the hands. I recommend raising hand or typing in the comments during the pitch event, your questions or comments. You're also welcome. So chat room is very helpful as well. Don't be shy, be active. Founders eager to hear your opinion. Don't hold back. Our presenting companies, if they caught your attention, if you like them, you're welcome to invite them to a one-on-one meeting. We do not take any interest, any equity or any success fee, whatever investment originates from this event. While there is no commitment to invest from the investors, we're always happy to hear when this happens. We will be sharing all the founders' pitch decks and contacts after the pitch event with our investor network. The recording of the event will be shared with all participants. Startups, your pitch decks will be also shared with investors. You're welcome to follow up. And on this note, I am excited to open our pitch session and let's hear from our genius founders for today. Remember, you have only 5 minutes to pitch. You can share your screen. Don't forget to stop screen share. You can do your demo, but make sure it's not exceeding the pitch time. Hopefully you will make our investors say yes to you today. Good luck. Okay, our first presenting company for today is Arcane Circle Games and its founder, Mike Ortiz. And Arcane Circle Games is the ultimate all-in-one hub for tabletop games and creators. Mike, welcome.
everyone, my name is Mike. I'm the co-founder of Arcane Circle. We're a team of professional game masters, and we're making tabletop role-playing games accessible by offering training and an all-in-one suite of tools to professional game masters and players. Now, I recognize that was a very nerdy sentence, but for those who don't know what a tabletop role-playing game is, or TTRPG for short, you do. Dungeons and Dragons, a game that is 50 years strong and only 2 years ago had a Hollywood movie release. TTRPGs have grown beyond the stereotypical scene of a few friends in a basement. They have been integrated into blockbuster shows like Stranger Things, video games, global conventions, and live actual plays have filled stadiums like Madison Square Garden. The industry itself is valued over $2 billion and is growing at about 12% per year. The digital service space in which we are currently aiming for counts to about a third of that pie, with over 50 million players globally. Now, for those who are curious, I've spoken to about 25 professional game masters who run an average of 5 to 6 games a week, and I've asked the hard question, how much do you make? And they were very kind enough to actually inform me that on average, we've learned about an $80,000 a year is kind of the average that they make, minus subscription fees and commission cuts they pay. Now, I've said this term a few times now. What is a professional game master? You're looking at one. I've been a professional GM for over 10 years, producing TTRPG content for 5 of those years. I pay my rent by running games, plain and simple. I'm here telling epic stories of daring quests and providing multi-year spanning experiences. And in this particular venture, I'm joined by my two co-founders, Amber Bracamonte and Mike Carmody, are my COO and my CTO respectively. Combined, we have over 40 years experience as game masters, and we're bringing skills from our years of professional experience in marketing, development, and project management. From what we found, that despite this immense growth of the industry, the experience is held back by one thing: friction. There are too many barriers to get into the TTRPGs. And for those here who may not know what the steps are, let me give you a quick little preview. If you wanted to run your own game right now, you'd need to learn the game, its rules, teach your players, learn about table safety because this is roleplay, and create about 4 different platforms and services by creating 4 different accounts on different sites. It's already chalking up too much. It already feels like too much. So let's lay this out. If you're a game master online, you need to find players, manage schedules, set up a virtual tabletop, and keep your world notes organized in the campaign wiki. And all this is needed on a separate platform. And this isn't just my or my co-founder's experience. We've reached out to the aforementioned professional game masters and learned that on average, a GM has over 5 different platforms open during a game. Now, what about players? We've just talked about GMs. Players, you're kind of in worse states. You have to find a good game online, and that is time consuming. You have to check social media profiles, dig into web forums for reviews, manage a multitude of accounts that your GM needs. And if you are brand new to the space, you're in worse shape. It's almost impossible for a new player to be confident that their game master they're about to play with knows how to run a game and knows how to do it safely. That's where we step in. We're providing GMs with a marketplace for game discovery, training, a built-in virtual tabletop, and so much more. We're not just removing those barriers by offering all of it in one. We're also establishing or enabling professional GMs to scale their business by delivering a superior and safer experience. For game masters, we have Stripe integration for super easy payment management, a calendar and schedule tool. We're giving GMs a wiki for each of their campaigns to keep the worlds organized. And though it is not currently available, we have plans on building a virtual tabletop and training center. For players, game discovery is a breeze. Players can search by game system, reviews, keywords, content warnings. We also have a badging system, so you as the player will know that a GM has gone through the training and earned those badges. Now, throughout all of these listed features, not once did I mention AI, and there's a reason for that. The tabletop industry is filled with creatives, writers, streamers, artists, and when it comes to AI, the mass majority of users who are creative types dislike generative AI because it's the removal of those creative types and the work that they do. So we here as a company, we've seen companies like Artificer DM and D&D AI and other tabletop AI forward companies. We've seen them stagnate and fail. And the common factor we've all seen is the use of AI front and center. During our early stages, we're avoiding AI to establish a trusted platform. And though we have still thought about AI and its common accepted wide use features, we're currently going to have that built on the side while we're still finding our footing. So now there are competitors that are providing some of these necessary tools, but not all of them in one place. We've looked at the entire landscape, and while some companies are just focused on game discovery or notes or virtual tabletop, Arcane Circle offers to Arcane Circle is offering it all in under one account, and it's kind of hard to argue that convenience isn't a factor when you're juggling multiple storylines and plot twists. And this kind of messaging resonates with our community, and we know where our audience is because we are them. And though we are pre-seed and very early stage revenue, we have 80 plus active users. This number just changed fairly recently. We have 80 plus active users. And we've been invited to conventions as panelists, and we have grown connections with several micro-influencers. And if you look up TTRPGs online on social media, I guarantee you're going to find thousands of creators giving viewers tips or teaching others how to play. It's a community that is inclusive and expansive by nature. And they're always looking for ways to make things easier for new players. Now, I love telling stories, as you can tell. I could talk for hours. But tabletop is more than just good narrative. There's a lot of math that's involved with our game, so let's switch to some numbers. We're implementing a diverse set, a stream of revenue streams that runs a little bit like an event site. Players book a seat in-game, and we add a 3% service fee. We also take a 6% cut from GM revenue. In addition to this, we also offer premium features to our in-house VTT, wiki, and other features that we have planned for the future. Now, based on these numbers here are some projections. In the first 2 years, we aim to have a minimum user base of 30,000 members, with 2,500 of those will be GMs. Those GMs would generate over $1 million of aggregate monthly revenue for themselves, and we are conservatively estimating our MRR to be a little over 50,000 by the middle of next year and 90K by the summer after that. We're asking for $1 million in SAFE with a 50% discount for 18 months of funding to reach that goal of 30,000 users. The funding will allow us to shift our CTO and COO to full-time and hire key staff roles and really sink our feet into the full marketing push. And we'll be able to use our public launch as a springboard by offering premium features sooner and allow us to collaborate with well-known and trusted influencers to develop our robust training features. When you're out in an adventure, there's nothing better than a full party. So on behalf of my adventuring party, we appreciate your time today, and we'd love for you to join us on their quest to open the world to tabletop role-playing games. Thank you. An adventure awaits.
All right, Michael. Thank you. You would make a great co-host for Startup Investor.
Tanya,
He's,
can I?
a professional game master.
I could talk for hours. I've done it before.
Tanya, can I make a comment?
Yes.
So, Mike, I always give the presenter a choice. Do you want the Vibe version or the diplomatic version?
Give me the harshest version you can give me. I'm ready for it.
Okay. Let's make sure you don't regret this.
Okay, it's Halloween,
I will say this much. I've spent my entire life on the internet. There's very little that phases me nowadays.
Okay, so and this is also a comment, I think, to Tanya. So were you reading off a script, or were you doing it?
I had small little bullet points that remind me of key points I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Not a full script, but things enough where it kept me on track.
Yeah, so it took me off track, and you lost me. You lost me after a few seconds. And I would recommend you, I want you to be successful. So let me make that very clear. I'm not here to burn you. I want you to be successful, but you lost me. The competition right now, especially in the Valley, is so severe. And I come from the gaming industry. I understand the severity here. I used to run, a long time ago, Angry Birds, the P&L for that. But when your eyes drift, you don't have us face to face. When your eyes drift from the camera, and you start reading, which was pretty obvious to me, you've immediately lost my attention, and you never got it back. So my recommendation is, and this is also a comment to Tanya, is to really look at the quality, to improve the quality of the pitch, because you do not want to lose me. I want to listen to you. I want to give you a chance, but not if I get distracted within a few seconds. Thank you.
Understood. Fair feedback.
I personally will continue reading because those are exact words that I've written. So I'm the author. I have the right to read what I've written. And Mike is I mean, everybody has different opinion on that, but are there any comments that are subject matter to the actual business other than presentation format?
Yes, I have one quick question. When you got to the slide, the only thing that I would say to follow up on the initial feedback is just slow down just a little bit. So like I think if you could get into more of a natural delivery, it would allow you to slow up and slow down in particular places. Because one of the slides I was interested in was your competitor slide.
Sure.
And you went through it kind of quickly, and I was still trying to I was trying to absorb it. But my question there is that it looks like that there are several other competitors already in the marketplace, just not all the competitors do what you do. So my question was really, how do you develop a moat so that these other competitors don't start to do the things that you do, like Start Playing does everything but virtual tabletop, wiki? How do you develop that expertise that allows you to build the fence around what you're doing at the company?
Oh, of course. And I think the concept of building a fence so that way like no one else can sort of do it the way we're doing it, or no one can like actually access that. I think it's understood that that probably is an impossibility. Because if you give anyone time and money, they can practically, simulate the same thing. It's all about timing. I think right now is a good time because it doesn't, at least from what our understanding from insiders, that none of these competitors are looking to do an all-in-one. They found their niche and they're not moving in anywhere else. A great thing about it is that me and my co-founders, we've had years, decades of experience utilizing these tools, finding the faults, and knowing that there are pain points of going to a new system, going to a new browser, going somewhere new, or just having to log into multiple platforms. And it is, even with older players, it is very much of a struggle to try to get them onto other platforms. So like for Start Playing is a great example, use them. That's great to find a game, but then you have to drag them to 5 other platforms just to actually showcase it, whether it's through a virtual tabletop, having notes organized, having notifications set. So we understand that that is the voice we're coming out with, which is we have it all. That way we establish ourselves as you don't need to go anywhere else.
Any other questions, comments?
I have a question. Who is your primary player segment? I don't know if you have said it. Is it teens, college students, working adults, and older adults? And for the 80, did you say you have 80 customers? What's
Yes.
the medium age of these players?
We found that they are in between 18 and 42.
Oh, that's a huge range. Okay. 18 and 40.
Well, the great thing about it is D&D and other TTRPGs, they were around since the 70s. So
Right.
there are some old school players who are still rocking, their math rocks, and they're still role playing. And recently, especially with the with COVID and the pandemic, that really kind of jump started the TTRPG industry, where things just started to bloom because really everyone just was like, well, we can't really talk to each other. Let's maybe have some other ways to have fun. And
That
so
makes
it
sense.
started to blossom from there.
And I would recommend that you kind of segment that age groups because they have different time availability, disposable income, and even 18 to 42, the difference in the way they use the digital tools.
That's good. Yeah, thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you, Tina.
Hi, this is David. Can I ask a question?
Hi, David.
Hi,
Yes,
hi. So first of all, thank you. I enjoyed your presentation. My question was around the revenue slide, and
Sure.
when I'm trying to think of the opportunity, I think I looked at the far right column, and it got close to 870,000
On the dot, yeah.
Of revenue by 2030. I think for a lot of it, for myself, and maybe I won't speak for other investors, we're looking, given the execution risk of investing in a small company, the time you have to wait for it to mature and get some sort of payout, that doesn't look like a big enough pot of gold at the finish line. And so when you think about a risk return, you want to make sure that there's a big market. When I think of investing, I think why this, why you, and why now. And the why this is really what is the market opportunity. You showed some pretty big numbers early. I think about $2 billion market early, but to capture less than $1 million of it in 3 or 4 years, and to be an angel piece of that just seems like a very small return. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, we definitely have a conservative estimate right now. I've definitely lived in the sort of the realm of, and I think even some other investors also provided the feedback of don't pull me for a ride, which is something I didn't want to do when it came to what we were presenting. So I fully understood. Obviously, there's always room for negotiation in terms of ask and what is being provided, but yeah, I appreciate the feedback. Absolutely.
Okay, let's keep it 3 questions per presenter. Otherwise, I think it might take a lot. You're welcome to continue asking or commenting in the chat room, Mike, on your presentation. And also there will be opportunity to follow up, and investors will have your contact information to reach out to you. And
amazing. Thank you so much.
And person per person at this point. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for the hard questions.
Yeah, no, I welcome, especially on Halloween. all critics is welcome. Great. Next, Trex Robotics, exoskeletons to help people walk. And let's see, and it's a great founder, Manmeet Maggie.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanya. Hey, everyone. My name is Manmeet. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Trex Robotics, where we're building exoskeletons to help people walk, starting with children. So I don't have to go too much into the problem, but whether you're born with a disability, whether you get into an unfortunate accident, or you're simply getting old, lack of mobility is something that each one of us is going to face at some point in our life. And so exoskeletons is a natural potential solution. But when you think about exoskeletons, at its core, exoskeleton is an interface problem. If you or me are walking in an exoskeleton, how does the robot know what you're trying to do and react to it? And it needs to be able to do that like 99% of the time, because otherwise it's actually going to impede your walking, and it's going to make it very frustrating. On top of that, each person's gait pattern is unique. It changes based on time of day, energy levels, even mood. You literally have a spring in your step when you're happy. This is actually perfectly suited to be solved through data and AI. And today, the hardware has largely been solved, but it's the data and AI and the interface that hasn't been solved today. And that's essentially what Trexo is doing, solving this interface problem using AI. We already have our first product launched and deployed. We have a fleet of 400 exoskeletons that's giving us this very rich data set of users walking. And with this, we are building these controllers, AI controllers that are predicting the user's intent and what the user is trying to do. So we have gated recurring units that's predicting the next 300 milliseconds of the user's torque. And it's actually already doing this better than any traditional controls methods. And we have patent granted on the AI engine as well. And our whole approach is that while we're starting with the children's market, the models we develop here with fine tuning can also be applicable in other verticals, such as adults with disabilities, as well as the elderly. And yeah, our first product is targeted towards children that are in wheelchairs, assisting them with the walking. But then from here, the next version that we intend to develop is actually for the elderly population, improving their mobility by a factor of 10, while reducing the risk of injuries from falls by a factor of 100. So what does the first product look like? Essentially, it's a pair of robotic legs that provides the powered assistance for children to help them walk. It's the whole device is designed around an external frame that provides the stability and the support, while the robotic legs provide the assistance and for the navigation. The initial market for this product is around 250,000 children in North America, which is like a $20 billion market. We're already selling. We have proven out the product market fit with this device. We had 4.6 million revenue last year. Today, we have around 400 customers on back order in the US, which represents 15 million of book sales. It has active assist features, and essentially you can take it anywhere that a wheelchair can go. Now, as I said, we're selling this commercially already. Officially, we have been selling this in US and Canada, but the need of this product is so desperate that families from all over the world are literally flying to Toronto, where our office is, to purchase this device and take it to wherever they are. And combined, all of our users have completed 100 million steps. And this is growing exponentially. It's actually 130 million since I last checked. That's enough to walk around the earth 5 times. So it's a pretty proud moment to be able to say that kids who could not walk have combined walked around the earth 5 times. But also this represents the largest database of human walking on earth because this has never been done before. So we have been selling this device. Up until now, we had been selling this for around $40,000, and it costs us around $12,000 to build. The big change that's happened recently is Medicare has announced reimbursement for personal exoskeletons, and at a lump sum rate of $91,000. This is the highest for any DME product, really creating the path for us to scale, not just in the pediatric market, but overall for the whole industry. We're currently doing a reclassification with the FDA to change our product code so that we can access this reimbursement. We're submitting our 510(k) next month, have been in touch and have a clear path to understand how that goes through, and expect the clearance end of Q1 next year. And that's why we have this back order of customers that have their deposits in the US that are waiting to get their Trexos. As I mentioned, we had around 4.6 million revenue last year. This year, we expect to be relatively flat as we await the regulatory and reimbursement to unlock. And next year is a real inflection point for us, and we're projecting 18 million revenue. We're also launching in Europe next year, and then 27 we're predicting 52 and beyond. Now, we've been incredibly capital efficient for a robotics and exoskeleton company. We've done all of this so far with just 6 million raised. We went through Y Combinator and raised our seed round out of that. And that's gotten us to this point. Today, we're raising a $5 million Series A. The goal with this is to get us to operationalize some of the reimbursement that's been announced recently, and also to build out the engineering and AI teams for us to work on the version 2, which is going to be for the elderly exoskeleton. Of the 5 million, we have around 3 million soft circled already. So we're looking for another 2 to close this round. So this was started by my co-founder Rahul and myself. Both of us have a background in robotics. We studied mechatronics engineering from Waterloo, worked in the industry for a few years, and then Rahul did his master's in robotics from University of Toronto, and I did my MBA from U of T as well. We've also built out a team of medtech operators now that really helping scale this beyond just the concept. But the way this got started was through a very personal journey. At the age of 2, my nephew, Pranit, was diagnosed with cerebral palsy and was told that he would never walk. The thought of my nephew never taking his first steps inspired us to find a solution. And when we couldn't find anything, we decided to use our robotics background and build something for Pranit. And we tried it out with him, and here he is going for a walk in the park for the very first time. Watching Pranit walk is still the proudest moment in my life. From there, we started getting interest from other families, other hospitals, and that's what led to starting Trexo Robotics. Thanks, everyone, and happy to jump into questions from here.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Beautiful story. Very inspiring.
Yes. Manmeet, very impressive. I'd love you to start with your with Prenat, your nephew's story. I would kick that off because it really grabs people. So that's just a small piece of the semantics. I do have a question. You know, it takes these type of startups, especially in hardware and very challenging distribution. It takes a long time. I don't have to explain that to you. I'm a bit surprised by your low ask. 5 mil sounds very little, and you already raised and I assume burned through most of the initial 5 mil. So why only 5 mil? And the second question is, what range of valuation are you looking at, considering that you probably have a cap on the initial investments?
Yeah, so why 5 mil? Like we could have done like a 15 million Series A easily, and there's a couple of things. One is if we were just a startup with no revenue, that's probably what we would have raised, but we're projecting 18 million revenue next year. A good chunk of that is already booked revenue, like with deposits from customers. The second thing is we have a line of credit of $15 million for working capital already from another organization called Kineo Finance. So I don't want to really use up equity for working capital use. So that's some of the main reasons why. And then the 5 million we're doing is on a 50 million pre.
Okay. My question is, especially considering your dip next year, which could be totally explicable, but I would just double down on the capital to increase your distribution instead.
Yeah, I mean, fair point. I mean, if something to consider for sure. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So many investors in this room. I wonder why investors always they want to kind of keep quiet, and maybe they want to make an offer after this. Anybody?
I got a question. Memi, hey, this is Richard. So, how are you currently going to market? Like, I would imagine that, you know, if you could walk me through as to how a customer, like what they're paying out of pocket, how are they getting reimbursed, et cetera. I would love to get to know that.
Yeah, so in terms of go to market, we've actually built out a pretty unique distribution. So we're going direct to consumer. This is actually very rare for a medical device company, but we have 200,000 followers on our social media, like Facebook, Instagram. And the reason is because this is such a visual product. One person sees their kid walking, they share it on their Instagram, and then 10 other people want to know about it. So, and I think in the long run, this distribution is going to be a huge moat for us. But essentially, that's how we're reaching the end user. Today, majority have just been out of pocket, but we have had around 50 insurance approvals as well. And the way this works is it costs around $40,000, and then we offer leasing financing options as well to the family. So it costs them around like $1,000 to $1,200 a month on a 3-year term. And then after that, there's an optional care plan, which is $500 a month, which is perpetual for them to have extended warranty, check-ins with our therapy team, and also size upgrades because kids are constantly growing.
So because your unit cost is $40,000. So let's say if I'm a family who needs this, I'm gonna have to pay $40,000 for this. That's kind of prohibitive, I would say. So, you know, do you have any plan as to how to lower that and therefore, you know, get you guys a wider distribution channel, more people can afford it, et cetera?
Yeah, the plan is to get this covered through insurance. So CMS, this is very recent, last year, Center for Medicaid and Medicare announced reimbursement for personal exoskeletons. And it was Trexo and two adult exoskeleton companies presenting to CMS. And the crazy thing is the announced payment reimbursement is 91,000, which is actually one of the highest ones for any such product. So we're currently undergoing the reclassification, but once we do that, we're changing our MSRP to actually 110,000 so that we can maximize reimbursement. So the reimbursement is happening. This is the big unlock. This is a seismic shift in the whole industry, taking this from a uncovered to now being covered by the public payers. So US is the first market to really open this up on a broad level, which is super exciting time.
And you said that you're partnering out with 15 insurance, is that correct?
So we've had 50 case approvals so far. So we of like around 400 customers, 50 we've had insurance approvals from a few different ones, including Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, United, as well as some state runs.
Okay, and you guys have kind of managed that pipeline, making sure that the rejection rate stays low, et cetera, right?
So far, because it was on a case-by-case basis, initially we were not managing it all. It was just on to the customers. Like it's on them to really manage this whole reimbursement process. So it would be families that are like super driven and they would like get us an approval. And then we would be like, okay, wait a second. We're seeing a couple of approvals here. Then we try to double down more further in. And so that's led us to have some successes.
I see. And last question, I know there's a lot of hands raised. Is that I know you're raising Series A for EMEA expansion. Is that correct? I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, so we're also launching Europe Q1. So we need some capital for that as well.
Okay, and first of all, is the sales model going to be the same? And second, how are you going to make sure that your team is able to support that kind of expansion?
Yeah, it's not. It's all going to be reliant on distributors. So mostly just get distribution partners in who can launch there, and we only have to focus on the production side and making sure that we can build and meet the demand.
Okay, a little bit concerned there actually. Anyways, I'll withhold.
So we have 2 questions. If we can keep the answers like to 1 sentence, like short. John Stewart.
Oh, thank you, Tanya. Hi, I'm John Stewart. I'm very impressed in what you've done here. I was involved with the tibia and bionic knee project about a decade ago, which was ultimately acquired by AlterG, and I think your design is much more interesting. So I'd love to have we went through the 510(k) process. We were aimed. It was a standalone bionic knee as opposed to a full lower extremity device, but I've looked at a lot of companies in this space and I'm super impressed. I'd love to have an offline conversation with you. By the way, I think your idea of taking less capital now, and thinking about customer financing, given the demand you've got, could be quite interesting.
Thank you, John. Yeah, looking forward to chat further. And Richard,
Okay.
we'll chat more as well.
Tanya, I don't know how to put my last name onto this, but it's got a John S, which I guess will be good enough.
Tina Choi.
Mimi, great product. Agree with everything people says. Question for you is, you talking about distribution, and I noticed that you guys are a Canada-based company, and I know you're working with distributors. Are you facing any supply chain, manufacturing, services, support issues as you scale? And then second thing is FDA. So you said you guys are going into the U.S. market and Medicare, Medicaid will be reimbursing. And is that contingent on FDA clearance and approval in 2026?
Yes, to answer your second question first, yes, it is contingent on the FDA approval happening. We've been in basically monthly talks with FDA. At this point, they have asked us to not change anything on the product because we were selling in the US already. There's some changes they want us on the training protocol. They're changing some things on the indication of use. They don't want it super broad. They're starting with cerebral palsy, ages 12 and up. So these are things we already know what to expect now. It's a very clear path on the regulatory side. There is no real question marks left. But once that is done, then we apply for getting it cleared with CMS as well. And then your other question, we're a Canadian entity. We actually have a dual company structure. So we have the US entity and the Canadian entity. And we raise US entities at Delaware C Corp. That's where we're raising the capital. But the whole engineering is here in Toronto through the Canadian entity. And we're not really having any, we're selling directly in the US, so not really going through distributors at this point. And haven't had any issues with like tariffs or anything either because products for people with physical disabilities go into an exempt category. So we've been in the clear.
Okay, thank
Hope
you.
that answers it, Tina.
Yep.
Since the hand was already raised, so Carl Jones, really quick, and other questions, comments, please use the chat room for follow-up. Okay, Carl.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, Meet. Great presentation. I want to ask you because what you're doing is really awesome, and one of my um, uh, fund investment is on dual use. I mean, I look at deep tech, high tech, health tech for dual use application. As you get into maybe the adult version, is your application have the ability to do military use?
Yes, it does.
So you have tried it, tested, or
Well, the
it's in
elderly,
development?
yeah, the version 2 is right now just in a conceptual phase. Part of the Series A is to kind of build out the engineering and AI team so that we can build out V2. But yeah, every exoskeleton we develop, including V1, we test on ourselves first. So um, there's definitely an application. The question is like, what is the specific use of it? I've seen a bunch of the military applications really start off and then fail. So I think it's important to figure out what is that core application where we can have a big impact. But there is definitely dual use potential.
Okay, I'd like to stay in touch.
Okay, we had the Netherlands Ministry of Defense really interested to join this speech. I don't know if they're in the room, but I guess like your company was the one that drawn that interest. Okay, and thank you so much, Manmeet. I would like to invite to the stage our next presenting company. Sensei-wise, cracking the code of human behavior to transform workplace productivity. Ida Bird-Hill, as the founder and CEO of Sensei-wise. Ida, welcome. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you. I just unmuted myself.
Welcome.
First of all, thank you. Let me close this. First of all, we know that every corporation is seeking to have a 45% revenue increase. That's why the AI revolution is here, is so that they can become a little bit more efficient and be able to generate that increase. Well, we were able to assist one of our clients, Dr. Bronner's, the soap manufacturer in San Diego, achieve that 45% increase. And our presentation is going to focus around how we did that. First of all, because the AI revolution is here, people didn't ask, why is that here? One of the challenges that has happened in the last 10 years or so, $8.8 trillion of revenue has been lost due to poor customer service, high turnover absenteeism, and failed digital projects. But here's the irony of it all. MIT just came out with a study last month that says that 95% of Gen AI projects are failing. And part of the reasons why they're failing is because the population that is key is what we call our frontliners, individuals who work directly with customers but are in lower level or entry level jobs. And they are often ignored. So we created SensiWise, cracking the code of human behavior, to figure out how do I get that population moving and motivated to do what can be done. People go, what do you mean? We survived the pandemic in 2020 pretty much because of tech people, executives, and frontliners. But as soon as the pandemic left, we forgot about those frontliners. So we created a behavioral informatics engine that uses very simple data. And I say simple because of tough times we think about data, we think about numbers, but we're using a coding game, pictures from a vision board, and a personality profile that AI will scrape to tell us a little bit about those frontliners, their behavior patterns, and their cognitive patterns. We have tested our product, SensiWise, initially in the training space. In the training space, we're serving workforce development agencies and corporations. And what we're using the AI to provide for us is the vision, grit, logic, algorithm building, and problem solving abilities of these frontliners to predict which ones would do best in tech training. The tech training we're focused on is AI data analytics, network engineering, cybersecurity, and tech support. And we're pretty much have been so excited that we've been pretty much about 87% accurate in our AI readiness score. We moved workforce agencies in the tech space from an 8% learning completion rate to 58%. We've seen a 2-time salary increase of those frontliners to an average of $67,000. And ironically, right now we're receiving about 3,000 trainee applications a month, which is a lot. Here's the training impact. We've seen, as we said, we double people's salary. Here's some of our salary increases of real people. Notice that they're non-traditional tech people. We've seen them go from 35,000 to 166,000. We just had our most recent one we were so excited about, where a person was laid off and now they're at an AWS data center. And we're seeing them all over the tech space. And we're seeing growth and corporations are benefiting. Now you go, why is that important? Because our engine, the 3 pieces of data, could be used for multiple markets. We started with the hardest, which we thought was workforce development training, and we could change the formula for 5 other markets, which we're planning to do. But right now, the next few years, we're going to focus continually in the workforce and corporate space, and then the organizational development space. People go, why? Right now, because of the AI revolution, there's a lot of layoffs that are occurring. Companies are trying to figure out, how do I speed up this AI? And we believe that behavior insights is the key. The market that we're going to serve over the next 5 years includes the workforce development at $713 billion, global HR analytics, global health, the U.S. consumer lending, the global ad space, and global safety and security space. That is a $13.2 trillion market in total. How will we do that? We are B2B. Even though we do serve end users with frontliners, they don't pay the fees. Those fees are paid by institutions. And there are 2 sets of fees. There's an annual software subscription fee for the actual SensiWise, and those are indicated here by enterprises. And then there's a second fee for the training and consulting. You know, we get paid per user for those trainees, about $5,000. But as we're doing corporate leadership, we get paid a lot more. And then we've had a few of our corporations who have asked us to do a full-on culture audit, and those assignments are even bigger. While we've been in this R&D mode, we have been making money. Last year, we closed at $604,000 in revenue, with our largest client being FEMA. We serve a lot of workforce development agencies. We've served a foundation. We served a museum, of course, a couple of corporations, and a marketing agency. I do have to say we have not taken any funding investment. We have been in an accelerator where we've gotten $50,000 to build out the app, but we have bootstrapped it, believing that business is based on revenue. And we've done that with a very small team. This is my team. There's only 3 of us. We've been aided in multiple ways by AI to keep us very small, but we kind of live by what we preach. We believe that frontliners is hidden potential. I am one of those frontliners. When I came up through the ranks, I was told in 10th grade that even though I was very brilliant, because of where I lived, I was never going to be college bound, but I received 11 acceptances to college, including Yale University and Brown. I am a salesperson. I generate revenue, but I've also trained people. So I kind of got a sense of what it means to train people, particularly since I have a background in behavioral economics. But to add insult to make our belief, our director of learning is our first Detroit workforce development graduate. She does not have a degree. But what she has done is given us insight on how to best serve that population of frontliners, because she's one of those. This is our go-to-market strategy. We've been using trade executive booths because we are in Detroit, the home of the automotive capital of the world. We have access to a large supply base. So we've been using that supply base to get customers. We've actually increased that process because we just entered into a supplier readiness cohort suggested by Ford Motor Company because we've been having multiple conversations about becoming a tier 1 supplier with them because right now we're tier 2, and we're just going to keep expanding our base. Secondly, what we're most proud about is that we've been going around the country talking about Dr. Browners with Dr. Browners. They've been a commercial for us to be able to pick up other mid-sized market companies to tell how we did our story and used our software and training to help them achieve their 45% revenue increase. Right now, we're raising our first tranche of money, our first round, a seed round of 1.5 million, because we want to expand greatly. As I said, we did 604,000 last year. We're on pace for $1 million this year. And 2026, with this 1.5 million, we're aiming to get to 4.2 million. But really, our goal is by 2030 to get to a $603 million. And so that's what we need to see capital help us start that scaling. And that's it. Any questions?
I have one question, Ida.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Your website, I'm looking at it. It says .org. Are you running as a nonprofit or for profit? I'm just more curious on that part.
Yeah, we are actually a for-profit, but we did roll out of a nonprofit. And because we had such demand for that link, we decided we just weren't going to change it because we did start the pilot as a nonprofit in 2017 and we rolled it out in 2020 into a for-profit.
Okay, thank you. And then another thing is, with the political climate the way it is it harder to get to the diversity inclusion group in the US?
No, we're not really having that challenge at all. And probably is because the way that we define diversity is a little different. When we go in and we have conversations with companies, we look at diversity being 34 cognitive thinking places. So that could be any, not just ethnic diversity, that could be political diversity, that could be age diversity. And so that's the way we frame it. The second thing that we do is we define diversity not only as a social justice per se, we define it as a market segmentation. It's about how are you going to make money? And market segmentation has been around for, hundreds of years, is going to be around for 100 more years because you cannot be all things to all people. And so that's the way that we have framed our conversation of how we pick up companies is that diversity is about creating your employees as brand ambassadors so that you can do a better job of market segmentation. Now, with that being said, that is how we were able to expand the revenue of Dr. Browners because they have been a general health market for many, many decades. And we were able to finally get them to do some real serious market segmentation. And in doing so, they were able to increase their revenue. And so that's how we frame it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, more questions? Mm-hmm.
All righty. Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. So, any other questions, comments? If not, let's keep it in the chat and move on to the next speech. Light-hearted AI, unlocking timely cardiac care through photonics. And I want to invite Lucrezia Sester, CEO and founder of Light-hearted AI. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Tanya. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Okay. Interesting. Apologies about this. Give me a second. in the meantime, as I share something, how many of you have watched Star Trek? If you can just shout it out if you've watched it. Thank you. How many of you remember the tricorder from Star Trek? Do you remember the tricorder from the movie? So basically, we have built the tricorder, and the tricorder was that device that Spock used to just shine a laser at people from a distance, capture a lot of data, and then diagnose everything that they could have with one single device. And this is what we have built. We're a spin-out from the University of Glasgow, and we have built pretty much this device that shines a laser at your neck and in 10 seconds can diagnose a lot of cardiac conditions. Despite the fact that we can diagnose a lot of conditions, we're starting with heart diseases. Heart valve disease. Heart valve disease affects 30 million people worldwide. 60,000 people die every year in the US alone. And the problem with this condition is that it's treatable. We just have new treatments available, but it is never detected in time. People generally just die. They're not detected because they remain asymptomatic until it progresses to a severe stage. So this leads to about 200,000 patients that are eligible to get treatment every year to miss the window to receive these life-saving procedures that are available to them. So what we have built is a device that just shines a laser at your neck, as you can see from the picture here, and in just 10 seconds capture several biovitals. So you can capture heart sounds, ECG, and blood pressure with an accuracy that has never been, with an unprecedented accuracy. If you think about your Apple Watch or your blood oximeter, we capture 10,000 times the amount of data thanks to the new sensors that we have developed. And not only the sensor and its hardware novelty, we also have AI models that can then interpret that data and diagnose several conditions. This is a picture of our first clinical trial. We're now running a 3,000 patients clinical trial with the goal of building several algorithm models on top of the data. And we're on track to get regulatory approval very, very soon. So I was saying this data has unprecedented accuracy. And this is the data we capture versus the data that current tools used in clinical practice can capture. You can just see that even if you're not a technical expert, you can just see that the data that we capture at the top is just cleaner than the data that current clinical tools capture. Why is this important? It's important because, for example, women are 7 times more likely to be misdiagnosed of heart conditions. They die twice more than men of several heart conditions. The reason is that women present biomarkers that are way higher frequency than men do. And there has never been done any research on this. And we didn't know that the current diagnostic tools cannot capture these biomarkers, but our device clearly do, making a lot of finally providing an equitable solution for heart disease diagnostics. We also can work quite well across different skin tones because you probably saw the headlines, is your Apple Watch racist? And the reason why that happened is because the algorithms weren't accounting for different skin tones, while we've already worked that through. This is what the device looks like today and all the suite of biovitals that it can capture. And it's just literally seamless integration, which is a 10-second scan on the neck. So I developed this when I was a PhD student at the University of Glasgow. And then I moved on ever since to bring it to the patients. And my co-founder was the first employee at a medtech innovator company, which is the largest life science accelerator in the world. They scaled to 100 hospitals before we joined forces 2 years ago. Together, we raised £3 million, $3 million, and we have several partnerships. We also put together a team. We have a team ranging from clinical, technical, and operational expertise. We This is our team. And then we have great advisors, notable mention, Dr. Udo Hoffman, Chief Medical AI and Commercial Officer, are clearly a company that raised 400 million in cardiovascular disease diagnostics. We're getting regulatory approval in the next 7 months, and we already have a lot of commercial partners ready to deploy once we do. Why is interesting now? Because the FDA just changed guidance. So right now, in May 2025, were new guidance saying we need to treat patients when they're asymptomatic. That means that the market just doubled because no one is able right now to capture these patients, and the amount of patients that need to be treated just doubled. So the market just doubled. Interestingly, for our clients, we serve healthcare system. For every 1,000 patients we screen, we're making the healthcare system $600,000 additional dollars of revenue every year. We're also running, as I mentioned, the 3,000 patients clinical trial where we are not just focusing on the first condition we want to deploy with, but several others capturing the full heart diagnostics market. And we have raised about 3 million in funding, and now we're raising an angel round before we raise A. And we are really looking forward to connect with investors in NSF. Thank you very much.
Just a quick question for you. How does this compare to the Zeopatch?
So the Zeopatch does ECG monitoring. So it's detecting atrial fibrillation, which is, you know, one condition that can affect the heart. It's an electrical condition. And we are detecting structural conditions. So we're looking at vastly different diseases. So, for example, the Zeopatch couldn't diagnose what we're diagnosing because we're diagnosing structural heart condition, and they're diagnosing electrical heart conditions.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Lucas, I had a valid clarifying question. I think you mentioned that you're pre-revenue currently, but you do have customers. Is that correct?
So our customers this year just invested 1 million to help us speed up our development because they want the product. And then they signed binding contracts saying as soon as you deploy, then we start with, with the proper revenue that will come from actually selling the product rather than them investing just to speed it up. So that's why we call them customers.
John Stewart, please.
Oh yeah, quickly. Nice presentation. It looks like it's a really interesting technology. Am I clear that you're not yet FDA approved?
Yeah. And we're starting in Europe.
Okay, so you're going to go the European route. Which digital stethoscope companies are you working with?
Well, we're not working with digital stethoscope companies. And I wonder if you're referring to the fact that they might be competition.
I'm an investor from the very early at Echo. And so I'm curious of whether Echo is friend or foe to you guys.
It's a bit of a foe. It's a bit of a foe, but I have to say, we are capturing vastly different segments of the market because they can only cater to clinicians. They can be only used by clinicians, and it needs to be used by a cardiologist. It takes 10 minutes. Our whole point is that probably that's not going to work because the real solution that companies like ours can offer is access to devices in cardiology deserts. 77 million people in the US do not have access to even a general physician. We don't want to be where Echo is, which is in outpatient cardiology office. We want to be used, our device can be used by the patients themselves, which is where we think the real gap in the market is.
Would it be helpful for me to do a introduction to Conor Landgraf for you? So Conor's a great guy. My first thought on this is that, is there some way that you guys could work together that would further your goals to get someplace? Because clearly this is an area which their technology doesn't currently cover, and they're focused mostly on the clinical market. And if you're thinking this could be consumer-empowered device with more of a European focus, that strikes me as very complementary.
Yeah, I would love to be introduced to
Okay,
Connor
my
Longo.
email is in the chat. Just reach out to me. Connor, he's terrific and approachable, and he's built a great company. You should see me someplace in the chat responding to the tectonics one. Okay, good luck to you. Thank you for the presentation.
And really brilliant women we have presenting at our pitch event today. Congratulations, you all. Okay, and let's keep for further comments, questions in the chat room. We have 3 more pitches coming up. And I want to invite to the stage our next presenter. And this is Sim Turbo, next gen aviation education software, revolutionizing how future engineers learn aircraft engine design, and CEO and founder Paul Hoffman. Welcome, Paul.
Hello, everyone. I am Paul Hoffman, President and CEO and founder of Controls Research LLC, creator of Sim Turbo, an innovative new gas turbine engine simulation software. Our team consists of myself and my Vice President of Sales and Marketing, and I'm deeply motivated to produce Sim Turbo by my passion for aircraft engines and engineering. In today's news, we hear of tragic incidences such as plane crashes, plane delays due to system issues. In the big picture, Sim Turbo is aimed to improve system safety and fuel efficiency of plane flights. Sim Turbo meets a niche area in gas turbine engine design, providing a user-friendly, design-capable software. Sim Turbo combines the needed disciplines of engine thermodynamics and controls, providing enhanced learning for academia and rapid comprehensive design for aerospace professionals. The tool set is large of engine and control components and provides enhanced creativity encompassing aircraft engine design. Sim Turbo market is twofold. One is aerospace universities and their students, where it enhances their learning capabilities and for aerospace, and also corporations, where it brings up to speed much quicker their new engineers to be able to design gas turbine engines using our software. And we're projected our market to reach 4 million within the 3rd year of operation. Here we have a high-level overview of the software. You can see that in the green components are the engine components, and they're controlled by the actuators, and then there's a controller, which is highlighted in blue, and then also the set points and the sensors. Now we'll look at a brief video. You can see the architecture of the system, and here is the simulation running a starting transient of the engine. And you can see in the upper left is the speed, and the lower left is the temperature, and the right is the surge margin of the engine. We have compressor maps, combustor plots, turbine maps, and cycle diagrams. Steady state operation, which shows things like the thrust, and finally the turbine speed sensors and such, also other different types of sensors. We'll have questions at the end of the presentation. Our business model consists of annual, lifetime, and monthly subscription licenses. We've currently started a marketing campaign including phone and social media. The first version of SimTurbo has been completed and is expected for release in early November 2025. Future options will include power generation and turbofans. Our competition consists of incredibly expensive software. SimTurbo provides a niche area in this market for rapid design, user friendliness, university teaching, and professional design capabilities. The desired funding is $400,000. The projected use of the funding will be for the lead engineer salary and marketing salaries. Marketing expenses of $60,000, base operating expenses of $40,000, and travel expenses of $40,000. Thank you for your time. I'd like to answer any questions at this point.
Thank you so much, Paul. Great presentation. Obviously, you are an innovator in your field. Building better education to make aviation safer. I would want to support that. Any questions, comments from our investor panel? There are investors here who haven't spoken yet, by the way. There is curate forum team. Who else? Let me see. There is Mikhail Sidak, who we haven't heard from. We have Miami family office people. We have Carl Jones. Who else? Somebody new, maybe? Or whoever feels like you want to comment or provide some feedback. Okay. Investors are processing. That is okay. I want to say to the founders that when you don't get questions or immediate reaction, it doesn't mean that investors are not interested. I would think that maybe you want to reach out in a one-on-one format and ask for feedback or ask for a follow-up. And I'm sure there will be a lot of useful information. So let's keep all that. I will not force this conversation, but let's keep it to the comments section and after the event follow-ups. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Paul. Yes, to optimize time, we are moving to the next presentation. We have 2 more to go. Our next presenter for today is Uniflow AI, autonomous intelligence infrastructure that enables enterprises and governments to solve complex business problems. And I want to invite to our stage the founder and CEO, Oliver Spring, Uniflow AI. Welcome, Oliver.
Flow, and I'm very excited to present it to you together with my team. One of my co-founders, female co-founders, is also in the call. Sita, she will jump in sometimes during the presentation, so we can do it a bit together. Why we've built Uniflow? I think there's lots of talks about AI, and I think one of the most discussed topics all over the place is basically the speed which is in which OpenAI and all the language models are just evolving and massively. So there's lots of startups being killed every minute probably, and every time OpenAI is announcing a new model. So we definitely wanted to make sure we're not going to be one of those. And also we want to make sure we create value long term. And we want to make AI and all the let's say the advanced AI solution accessible to everyone, meaning the solo entrepreneur, the SME, and the enterprise. And no matter what industry, what stage or what scale you are, you should be able to enter the platform and you see that we represent value for you. So we are orchestrating. We're not replacing anything, but of course we have a target. So let me just summarize quickly what category we're playing. We're actually a horizontal SaaS, an orchestration platform, and we have a free version all the way to an enterprise solution. And we're currently raising a seed round. We have a couple of features that are very unique, and I get to that in a second. Let's talk about the problem for a minute. I think overall, it is very well known, and I think there was a number of 95%. We're depending on what research you're reading, but there's a lot of AI investments being done and very little ROI if you ask CEOs. And honestly, in our network, when we speak to customers and we speak to smaller and bigger customers, this is one of our advantages, that we have that access to those customers. The number one reason is really that they don't see a quick ROI or not quick enough. So we want to make sure we don't replace anything. They can use their existing tech stack, and we deliver intelligence as a service. How are we going to do that? We have an analyzer, so-called analyzer, that is actually able to analyze the problem, classify it, and then give you a blueprint how to execute it. And then we have different solutions to problem solvers, so to say. Let's say the agents, the workflows, pre-built. Some of them are quite special as well, attached to quant and so on. But we are an AI-first company. And then we have a product that is very, very scalable, I would say, because this is creating value for all of you. And no matter what industry, it is an AI search feature with contact intelligence, list builder, knowledge graph, and org intelligence. This is already live, up and running, and highly scalable all across the board. Every revenue team, ops team, finance team, everybody can use that. And the analyzer is something that we see as a next phase of the product expansion when customers are being onboarded right now. Yeah, as I said, I think one of the key lessons that people learn in AI is really that it's hard to replace something or hard to sell the enterprise something and force them to something. And I think this is exactly our sweet spot. We're perfectly in the middle and we orchestrate things. Let me show you some screenshots from the product. Again, it's the AI search list builder, beautiful product, org intelligence, and lots of other features. Then we have the analyzer, which is classifying the problem. So you enter your problem, you describe your problem in a language format. You can also upload your existing workflows or describe your problem a little bit better. And we have a very, very straight framework where we classify and identify the problem and give you a framework how to solve the problem. And then that is the interface, how it looks like. It's a whole suite of agents, even third-party agents or agents that the enterprise or the SME has built themselves. You can include it and then run it on different compute powers as you wish and add the other product suite. I'm going to jump some slides because we tend to be very detailed, and we have a lot of annexes where we go deep dive into all the features. I want to highlight maybe the team real quick. Myself, and then also Sita is in the call with a fantastic tech and finance background. We've got people from Microsoft as really leading people in the industry, all the way to AI people and also quant people and industry experts as well, like Dr. Chopra and like their Dr. Krasander. So I would like to hand over maybe also to Sita a little bit. She can talk about perhaps some of the aspects of the market that we address. Let me just go to that slide. We are addressing a fairly large market. We basically attack the AI consultants that are out there. Because with the analyzer you identify the solution and the problem real quick. So that is a very, very big market to tackle, and I think Sita, I'll give it a few words to add here on, and also to the current fundraise that we have.
Yeah,
Welcome.
in terms of the market, nice to meet you. In terms of the market, we have the AI search tool, which is the AI list builder, the knowledge graph, the org chart, and that's really for SMBs, but also for enterprises, as we are disrupting business intelligence here. So instead of having a static database, we offer a strong database, but we are really connecting it with contextual business intelligence, AI market research and analysis, and therefore is quite industry agnostic as we tackle SMBs in different industries. So first of all, tech companies are very important to us as they have to grow quite quickly and need also the right tools and definitely platforms that understand, first of all, their personal context and understand and identify the right stakeholders that they really need. And then in addition to this, the analyzer is something where we try to identify your problem that you have in terms of your operation and really create a workflow blueprint and then execute the problem. And that's for smaller companies, but also for enterprises, as SMBs and enterprises have different issues or problems in terms of their operations, but there's always a need to scale and there's always a need for cost optimization or resource allocation. So in regards to the raise, maybe I can just share that we are raising a seed round, as Oliver already mentioned before. We are the use of funds are for growth and also for expansion, as we are really trying to increase our sales volume as it's a product-led strategy. And then also we are spending a portion of it, so 20% will go into the product to really enhance the product. The AI analyzer is almost like it's actually done, but the optimizer for the execution is still in development, so 20% of the funding will go into this. We have already some soft commitments. We are speaking to VCs, we speak to family offices, and we are expanding in the US market.
Great. Yeah, I think I have nothing more to add other than that. I think we're very excited to take next steps. Also, to have this great C-level contacts all over the world, and I'm just giving you some examples. Energy grid optimization, or we can speak to governments in the Middle East or Africa for like really reducing emissions, or so anything that is with the same technology is addressing an optimization problem, we can solve it, and we can do it with all the tools on our platform, very handy. So quite universal.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, Uniflow AI. I'm really happy to see so many great companies, cool companies really aggressively pursuing Silicon Valley, the investors community, and I like it. I think there's like a spirit of competition, of achievement, of success. Wishing you guys all good luck with your fundraising. Hopefully our event will be of help. Any questions, comments, suggestions? Feedback, criticism for Uniflow AI? Well, from my experience, investors often stay silent when they don't want to reveal their investment intentions. Also, and you might be hearing after the event, as you know, there's also a competition among investors. So, and as I mentioned, we will be sharing pitch decks and the video of the event with our investor community, our investor network. So definitely you will be hearing back from our investors. Okay, great. So unless there are any urgent comment questions, you're welcome to type them in the chat. All the contact information will be shared after the event for your further follow-ups. Thank you so much, Uniflow AI. Congratulations. And our final presenter for today. Our final presenter for today, a company that is really dear to my heart because this is first-time entrepreneur. This is a very aspiring young woman from Haiti, building something that she's really passionate about, Poetic, empowering Haiti's food market economy through digital literacy. And I want to invite to the stage Marta Remy, the founder of Poetic. Welcome, Marta.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today and for your attention during this presentation. My name is Mot Remy. I am the manager of Farmers Worldwide, a nonprofit organization that aims to provide educational support, particularly digital literacy. Pratique is a digital literacy project for the Asian food industry, especially for traders in marché, the traditional Asian supermarket. The Asian food industry is really big, combining many fields such as agriculture, tourism, waste, supply chain, entertainment, food crafting, and fashion. However, the lack of infrastructure is preventing it from generating significant revenue. At Hermes Worldwide, we suggest a new business model that will structure the whole Asian food industry in order to make it very profitable. We also suggest a digital marketplace for the Asian grocery system, for which we are considering making digital literacy and education sessions. Pratique is the software application that will serve the Asian grocery system, the Asian grocery stores that are BAC, the mobile candy store, Marché, the traditional Asian supermarket, Boutique, the corner store, the food depot, and the supermarket, which is a grocery store like the one in any country. Marché, as you can see on the graph, Marché, the traditional Asian supermarket, is the largest grocery store category in Haiti with more than 500 stores generating revenue. This is the reason why we estimated the market value of the Asian grocery system only $2 billion US. Pratique software will have both online store and point of sales modes available in Asian grocery stores. The Asian e-wallet Moncash has a payment feature for traders. We have also feedback from traders that prove that they need help with digital literacy. Our competitors in the trading category are Facebook Marketplace, Instagram Shop, and TikTok Shop available in Haiti, as Pratique will be operational in Haiti. The Pratique project will start with primarily a robocall survey about the digital marketplace use. This will enable us to make informed decisions and take the right steps for the success of the project. The robocall is also our strategy to help traders adapt to the upcoming digital world. And then, at the same time, there will be Pratique software development, partnership with the stakeholders for financial operations, as you can see all the logo, and tourism activities that will be offered to Fête Champêtre, which are the rural festivities in Haiti. As the Pratique software will not be operational at the beginning of the project, and the digital literacy sessions will also take time. Our strategy to captivate investors is the early implication of tourism capable of generating early profit while waiting for the Pratic software to become profitable. The total estimated budget for the Pratic project is around 13 million US dollars. The Pratic project staff has 4 members, two women who have background in management and administration, and 2 men who have background in IT. They are IT professionals. As of today, we hope to raise around 2% of the project total cost, around 300,000 US dollar, because this amount will be dedicated to market research, feedback survey to robocall in Great South and Great North areas, planning, design and prototyping, MVP development, digital literacy training sessions in Port Salut district in the south, and in Milo district in the north. Then we will have testing and quality assurance of the app, and also the tourism activities to fête champêtre, the rural festivities. And we will have also at the same time for better management of the project, social cohesion and waste literacy. So thank you for your attention. I look forward to answering your question.
Okay, great. Digital literacy and food market for Haiti. Any supportive feedback, comments? I would really love investors, since this is an early stage company, I would really love investors to give some advice, like something helpful to this founder. Maybe Kimberly, you here?
Yes, I'm here. I can tap in. I think this is a great idea, and I wanted to just say early on, I think it's very important to have a prototype. I couldn't tell. Well, I'm assuming from the presentation that there's no prototype product yet done. And I think that's important. I think finding a way before you even raise like your pre-seed round to get to just a minimal valuable product that you can actually take out into the marketplace and do some early testing. Because I think right now, in listening to your presentation, you certainly have a strong concept that has a strong market potential, but you don't necessarily know if it's going to work and it's going to solve the problem that you're trying to until you actually have something to test in place. So, like, I would just highly suggest that finding a way to get to just a basic product, total MVP, that you can actually get some of those vendors to actually test and give you some very early feedback, or even those very first early customers to actually help you to be able to get to that pre-seed round.
Amazing. Yeah, this is really valuable. And I want to say that we are really democratizing access to funding to everybody. As you see, there are really some early stage entrepreneurs and some later stage companies, and it's a room here to learn from each other as well, learn from a helpful feedback, comment from our investors. And there are many investors in this room who haven't spoken yet. I hope you guys have, maybe if you just say a few words, that would be interesting for our audience to hear. Any comments to any of the companies that presented today? Actually, I wanted Shubham, Desai.
Maybe I can actually just say one more thing before, and then I've spoken a lot, but then I'll be quiet.
Yes, please. No, that's why I want more women investors to support our, especially female founders. So I'm really grateful that you're here. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I would just say for every one of the founders that presented today, being able to work on something and then step up and put your product and your ideas and your genius on displays takes a lot of courage. So I just wanted to just encourage you to keep going. Don't get discouraged. I think it's incredibly important to be resilient if you're a founder, because you need some failures to be able to get to those successes. So keep going out there, putting your ideas out there, getting feedback, whether positive or negative, because it's not a bad thing to get that failure. It's actually a data point, and look at it that way and keep going.
Thank you so much.
This is like I don't know, it's just warming my heart. So it's almost like not a Halloween event anymore. It's just so cozy. Thank you so much. All right. Any final remarks from any of the investors in the room? Who did you like more? Like any companies that made you excited or made you think or sparked your interest? Anybody? Todd Yancey, there is curate the forum. I never heard from you. Mike Sidakov, I would love to hear. Carl Jones is still here. We have family office from Miami. Maybe you want to say something. If you guys still here, because investors sometimes they get on a call and they're still like on a Zoom. But I understand you multitask, but I would love to hear if you're still with us.
Tanya, thank you so much. This is Fabiano from the Miami family office.
Fabiano, hello.
Yes, I was very, very excited by the breadth of founders that are in the call today. They're in different levels of development. I was very, very interested in Trexo and also then sensitivity, Sensei-wise. It's a very, very good follow-up offline. But my message to all of you, I think this is a great forum. I think you need to listen very hard to all the investors' feedback. Don't get discouraged. Just fix whatever you think needs development and keep moving, right?
Amazing. And I'm telling you, thank you so much. So I'm telling you, there are some really cool investors sometimes secretly present in this room, and they just do not speak out. But then later I learned that they were there and they might reach out to you. But I definitely recommend all founders to take initiative, to follow up, to send your messages to all the investors that you met here today, and to ask for feedback in private forum, because sometimes people just don't want to say publicly something that they would say they would share in private. Todd Yancey, you wanted to add something?
I thought it was just a nice set of presentations and very interested in following up.
See, investors are telling you they are interested to follow up with you guys. Carl Jones.
Well, I mean, I just say a word of encouragement. I mean, pitching is not an easy job. It takes practice and practice and practice. But if you try, I'm sure many of you have done it already. But if you can Google, best pitch deck or something like that, where it hits all key points that we look for, and you practice and maybe listen to other people and see how they deliver their message from start to finish. It's and then just listen to how they say it, how they present it, and then you just practice and practice, and look in the mirror as you practice and speak. Pretending like you're speaking to an audience of investors, and all that just takes that confidence, and then once you have that pitch solid, then it will go really smooth, and you're going to get better and better. And but I want to give everyone encouragement that all of you have done a great job, and each one has their strengths and weaknesses in terms of their opportunity, but the big picture is you just go out there and just pretty much knock them dead. So thanks you guys, thanks all of you for pitching.
That's the attitude. And by the way, if you want to learn peace of mind from investors and how they think and their insights, you can watch on our website page of Startup Investor Pitch Launch. You can watch Reverse Pitch Day, where we had 6 investors pitching founders with their insights on like how to do a pitch, how to fundraise. So that was a really helpful insight into the investor's mind. All right. So founders, thank you all for your inspiring pitches, and we wishing you great success in your next steps of your fundraising campaign. I hope this tool was useful for you today, and there will be follow-up activities after this event. We look forward to hearing about your fundraising success, and we'll be helping you in your entrepreneurship journey further. Investors, thank you so much for your attention and for being a judge and supporting our founders at our Startup Investor Pitch Launch today. We truly appreciate all the insightful feedback you provided, all the comments. We will be sharing founders pitch decks, everybody's contact information for your networking purposes. A video recording will be available on our YouTube channel in a couple of days. Feel free to reach out to the companies that interested you and caught your attention. Feel free to do some introductions. It's a very supportive community. If you're an audience viewer and you're watching this video recording and you would love to pitch your startup to our audience of investors, welcome to send us your pitch deck to our email dealflow@investorpitchlaunch.com. If you're an investor, sign up for our mailing list and join us as an investor judge for our future events. Also, brand sponsors are welcome to join and help some of the founders cover registration fees and support their fundraising campaigns and support this event to maybe happen not once a month, but twice a month. So thank you all for your time and attention, for your effort today. It was Tanya Mitchell. Thank you for being a part of Startup Investor Pitch Launch, making it a positive environment, and inspiring and helpful for all. And we are looking forward to having you again with us soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank
Tanya.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Bye.